Hombre is about to come on right now. Oh yeah.
I always like to spend time with the Tequila Hombre on Friday night.
I think you need to play something more smooth jazz or funky instead of this techno stuff. And grab me some red sauce. Sit down for the hombre tonight, man. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to see. Oh yeah, baby.
What my precious, precious, precious. That precious guy is kind of freaking me out. He sounds gross.
I'm so excited, man. There's only like 2 minutes left, and the hombre comes on, and I get to drink some Resol, and I get to sing. Oh yeah, baby.
Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Hombre Cave. Hope you guys are having a good night. Things are doing good here. All right, so today we're going to be talking. I know before one of the guys, I forgot who it was, asked about my story. So I'm gonna tell my story today. I'm gonna let you guys in on my journey and how I got to become the Tequila Hombre and what it was like for me. So I hope you guys have something good to drink, and we'll tell you my story. What is this? Not, I got my volume on my headset's not as good as it used to be. But let me see if I can turn that up a little bit. Let me see. Is it a little quiet right now? Is it? Let me see if this is. There we go. How are we? We're doing okay. We're good there. All right. And then all right. I think you guys can hear me pretty good, right? Hopefully. If not, I can adjust it a little bit more here. But it looks like it's getting up there pretty high. But let me look real quick. What was that? It was here, I think. Here, yeah, okay, here. It went down a little bit. There, that should be a little better. There, that's good. Okay, now we're a little better. Computer rebooted, so the volume got turned down a little bit. So this should be good. You guys should be able to hear me pretty good now, you know. All right, so let's check in with our our subscribers. Ola from Dayton, trying to stay afloat right now. Crazy rain and wind. Hope the power stays. I hope the power stays on too. We actually got snow. It got snow in Southern California yesterday. It was crazy. It was actually a blizzard here in the desert in Southern California. So that was crazy. So the weather's been kind of crazy, I think, for everybody. Buenas noches, Mark. I sent you an email in regards to sample selection de Matachinas. A winner. Did you receive? Yeah, I received it. Yeah, I responded back to you. Said that I got it. So check your junk mailbox, Scott, because I said I got it and I'll get it out to you. So I sent you a response. So check your junk mail. It's probably in there. What's up, brother? Hey, Jay Rubenfeld, my timekeeper. How you doing, buddy? We had sushi tonight. I was just thinking about you guys because we talked about sometime getting together and doing sushi and stuff with our wives. So I'm glad to see you. Glad you can make it. Hey, Rockney Lee. Thank you. All right. Chris can hear me. Good. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? But it's obvious that you can, which is good. So we started just a little bit early tonight, a couple minutes. We'll give some more time for people to get here because we only have 6 people, so we'll give it a little more time. Sorry I'm late. We had a wine tasting tonight. I'm drinking G4 Blanco and Siembra Valle Hyper. You're not late. You're early. We started this early, so I'm 2 minutes early from a 7 o'clock start time. So there's a lot of people that aren't here yet. So we can wait before I start talking about my journey. Some things, just some updates. Some things I did get a new brand in. Luna Nueva came in, which is New Moon, and it's a 1414 tequila. So I'll do a review on that. I do have the Santa Leza review that we need to do. I'll get that one done as well. And then I just got today a bottle of the Nueva Uno regular Añejo, the new one that's replacing the Añejo Deep. That showed up today. And I'm looking forward to reviewing that. And this is the Añejo Deep is like my favorite Añejo. It's better than like Fortaleza. It's better than G4. It's like the best Añejo that's on the market right now. But unfortunately, they're discontinuing it because they have to wait 2 years for it. They have to wait 2 years for it to age. And so this one's going to only be a year, so they don't have to wait as long. So you're drunk. Oh, you got a head start on us. Oh, okay. I see how you are, Chris. Yep, Gunk Mail got it. So, okay, good. All right, good. glad that you got it. You always get to check that junk mail, so to make sure it's showing up there. All right, looks like everyone's starting to show up now, which is good. We got good group of people. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about my journey and how I got here, because it's kind of interesting. I think. Hey, they're all sipping on some El Tequilano Rare night. No, the El Tequilano Reposado Rare, so you're getting a nice one. It's actually more like an extra añejo, but they can't call it that because it's in too large of a barrel. So that's kind of interesting stuff. All right, so my journey was kind of interesting. So I'm going to talk a little bit about myself, and because somebody had asked me about that, and so I want you guys to get familiar with who I am and what I'm about, and how I got to where I'm at now, which I think is a pretty good spot. I think I'm okay. I'm doing okay. So just to give you a background first, I've got a bachelor's degree in radio and television broadcasting. So before I started getting into doing this, I was a wedding and event DJ full time. I worked for weddings and events, doing weddings and corporate events and stuff like that. But I worked in radio when I was in college, and then afterwards for a couple years, I was an on-air radio DJ. So that's why I get a kick out of doing all the voices and stuff. I worked for commercial real radio stations, not like the college station type of thing. So I've got a background in radio and television broadcasting. I work in advertising too, writing commercial copy and doing voiceover work, so doing different voices and stuff. So that's what I did before I started getting into this. Matter of fact, sipping on some Mejia. Oh, nice. Mejia Extraña is very good. Went for it. Good stuff. So I just recently retired from being a wedding and event DJ, and I'm doing the tequila stuff full time now, agave spirits and stuff. And but basically how I got into this, it all started back when I was at Chico State, where I went to school. I fell in love with good beer, and we used to go visit the Sierra Nevada Brewery. And for those of you that know Sierra Nevada, it's a big time brewery now, but back when I was there, it was small, just basically getting started. So we used to go drink at the Sierra Nevada Brewery, and I used to enjoy going there and drinking. And the guy that owns it, his name's Ken Grossman. He's he's a legend in the beer world, but he was actually a home brewer. And so we were talking about home brewing and stuff when we were up there. And so when I moved back down to Southern California, I decided I was going to try to get into doing some home brewing, brew my own beer, because I did love good beer and I wanted to be able to make, some good stuff on my own. So I started brewing beer out of my garage, and I got into it. I really got super geeky about it and wanted to learn as much as I could, and really dove into it. And learned about mashing grains and And the fermentation part was something that was really cool and interesting for me. And learning just all about how to make beer and then carbonation and all that. So I got into it and I started working on it. And I built a brewery in my garage, like a really nice full scale kind of brewery thing going, where I was cranking out. Actually, it started in my apartment before I was married, before I had my wife. I was doing it in my apartment. I had used to brew a lot. All my neighbors used to come over for beer, and I had it on tap on my back deck. But I was brewing so much and get so into it that I actually had the ATF knock on my door to check, because they heard about what I was doing up there. I wanted to make sure I didn't exceed the maximum amount you're allowed to brew without getting a license as a brewery. So, but I didn't. I was below the limit. There was the limit was 120 gallons per person over the age of 21. So I was below 120 gallons. I had 100 gallons of beer out on the back deck, and I used to put it on a jockey box up and put it all on tap. And then all my neighbors used to come over, and we sit in the back on the back deck, smoking cigars and drinking beer. So I got really into it. Once I met my wife and moved in with her, I built a brewery in the garage. And really got into watching fermentation and really focusing on the fermentation part of it, because that's, like I said, that's one of the important things in developing the flavor profile. So let's visit in here. Hold on a second. Scott Henderson says he's race all tonight. Yeah, I'm good. Good evening, guys. Sipping El Tesoro Añejo tonight. Nice. Thanks, Quicksilver, for showing up. So I got into drinking or brewing beer, and I really got into fermentation, and so then I started wanting people to evaluate my beers and kind of let me know how I was doing. And so I started entering them into competitions, and I started winning. I started winning awards, ribbons, and stuff. And so I wanted to kind of see what these guys were looking for and learn about how I could kind of check my own beers before I enter them in for competitions, see how they would kind of do, and see if I could notice what's happening during fermentation and stuff. So I actually registered to become a beer judge. And I went through a beer judge certification program where I was actually doing sensory testing, classes and stuff to learn about tasting notes and tasting stuff, and then being able to identify flaws in production, as well as what to look for, what not to look for, and then how to give constructive criticism on it. So I went through sensory training, and I went through the beer judge certification training and got certified as a beer judge. And I would then go to competitions then and get to judge other people's beers, tasting them, looking for off flavors, and then giving them constructive criticism on how they could make their beers better. We weren't nasty about it at all. We learned to, be constructive. I got to taste some really bad beers, really bad beers that were like bacterial infections and stuff going on in them. And I got to taste some really great beers from some really great brewers that I got to judge in the competitions. So I kind of went crazy on the fermentation side of thing and started really going crazy on creating my own recipes and stuff, and still entering the competitions. And then I went on to win a national championship, a gold medal for a beer that I did. It was a pumpkin spiced saison, where it was my holiday beer that I used to make and bring to all my neighbors, give them bottles of it. It was a saison that I used pumpkin in the mash, and then I spiced it during the boil with nutmeg, cinnamon, and cloves. So it was my holiday beer, and it won regionals and then went on to get undefeated in nationals. And so I still have my medal, the gold medal for that here. Let's see if we get to focus. So that's my gold medal for the national homebrew competition that I won. It took first place. This was 2009. So for the spiced herb vegetable beer category, or special spiced herb vegetable beer category, because since this was a pumpkin beer, it fit into that category. So I won a gold medal on that, and then I got invited to go brew a batch of beer at Sierra Nevada. So I got to go there and brew a batch of beer on their system. And I got all this, when I won it, they gave me all this stuff, but even even the judge sheets for my beers. I still have them all here on what my scores were. And my beers really kicked butt. So, but then you can look at all the medals, all the certificates that I got for the stuff that I entered. So there's strong Scotch ale. I got a gold medal, a gold award for that. I did a spiced herb vegetable beer, which I won a gold for. I won a silver for another one that I did. A silver for a Belgian triple beer that I brewed. I won a silver for a wit beer, which is a wheat beer, German wheat beer. I won a whole stack of stuff from this Belgian triple, silver, a wood aged beer. So I did a Jack Daniels bourbon beer, and that won bronze. So, and then I did an Oktoberfest that won bronze as well. So and I've got a whole big stack of ribbons out in the brewery, out in the garage, from other competitions, state competitions and stuff that I entered my beers in and stuff, and won medals and ribbons. And so I've got a bunch of stuff. So you're probably wondering, well, what does this have to do? What does beer have to do with tequila? Well, I was so interested in beer, and I love teaching people what I learned and stuff. So I actually started a homebrew club. It was called the Fear No Beer Homebrew Club, and we went from just being me in it to having 150 people in my homebrew club, and several of the people that I taught how to brew and mentored and stuff went on to become commercial brewers, working for commercial breweries. So that was really cool. I enjoyed doing the Fear No Beer Club, and so then I pretty much hit my pinnacle of my beer brewing and said, okay, well, what's next for me? What do I want to do next? So I started getting into bourbon, into whiskey, and learning about distillation. So I was drinking. I became a bourbon drinker. I came from Ohio, so I was surrounded by bourbon, growing up and stuff. So I started learning about and drinking and enjoying bourbon. And while I was doing that, I was like, okay, yeah, bourbon's okay. It used to give me indigestion. I used to get really bad indigestion from drinking bourbon. So did you sell your recipe to anyone? People go crazy for pumpkin beer and session beers. No, I haven't sold my recipe to anybody. I still have it. I could make it again if I wanted to. I still have the brewery in the garage. But no, I didn't sell the recipe or anything. I still have it. It's still my secret personal recipe. There's some really interesting tricks for that one in order to work with pumpkins. So it took me a good while of experimentation before I finally got it and nailed it. But I had a lot of people asking me, what did you do to get the beer to taste this good? And I wouldn't tell them because it took a lot of work for me to figure it out. So I started drinking bourbon and stuff, and I was like, okay, bourbon's good. But then, we had a timeshare in Cabo. And when we were down in Cabo with my wife, we used to go into town, into some of the stores and stuff, and we saw tequila. And so I started tasting tequila there. I started learning about tequila from people there. And so we would buy tequila in Cabo and bring it home, and I would enjoy it. I was like, wow, this is good. But back then, Cabo Oro was our favorite. I mean, we all start somewhere, right? So I like the syrupy caramel stuff. It's to start. And then I started researching tequila and was finding out that stuff wasn't the best stuff. So then I started doing more research and looking for better tequilas to try. And I was trying the stuff without the additives and stuff, and started really enjoying it. So I was like, wow. So then I got involved in some groups on Facebook, which is the heartburn is why you had to stop drinking bourbon and whiskey as well, tequila for whatever reason. It doesn't bother me either. Yeah, I think it's because it has a lot to do with the grain, the maltose based versus the fructose based. I think fructose is a lot easier on people's digestive systems than maltose is, and with the glucose molecules in there. So so I started getting into tequila, and so I started getting into some tequila groups, and I was finding that there was a very large snob kind of mentality in the tequila groups on Facebook. And people would be like, I am the king of tequila. I know everything, and I'm not gonna, if you want to know something, you can learn from me. And it was kind of just not very nice and not very forthcoming with information. So, but I wanted to learn more, and people didn't like me because they said I was asking too many questions and bringing too much attention to myself because I was asking questions and stuff all the time. So I instead, one of the things that I'm really good at is connecting with people, and then also connecting people together and networking and stuff. So I started reaching out to producers and stuff and started asking them questions, and they would respond, and I'd get the less or more snobs than bourbon. Yeah, they were probably about the same, I guess. I wasn't in any bourbon groups, so I can't speak for what the bourbon groups are like. But these guys were pretty bad. So, but I started reaching out to the producers and stuff, and asking questions, and they would answer. They would answer me, and so then I'd start sharing that information with people, and the people that were the ones that we should learn from, the experts. Didn't like the fact that I was correcting them on things because I'd get the correct answer from, say, Felipe Camarena or something. And so they would give me a hard time. And it got to the point where eventually I was banned from a lot of groups because they said I was getting too much attention. That's what they said. But what basically was happening too is while I was in the groups learning about tequila and trying to learn as much as I could, and sharing what I was learning from producers, I found out that there was a program, single barrel programs, and I was like, oh, single barrel programs look pretty cool. And so I said, hey, I wonder if there's a way for us to create get involved in a single barrel program where we would allow people in the group here to be able to get a barrel and everybody like kind of invest in it and stuff. And so some of the expert tequila people that are out there said, you can't do that. People have tried. You won't be able to do it. Don't even try it. It won't work. And yet I'm getting DMs from a guy saying, I can help you do it if you want to do it. And so I was like, okay. And he ended up being a Sazerac rep. So I said, okay, let's talk about it. And so then I started posting in the group, hey, I'm going to do this. If you're interested, let me know. And then I formed another Facebook group called the Tequila Barrel and Agave, or the Tequila Barrel Collective. And I had a bunch of people there in the group that were telling me, hey, you can't do this. It won't work. You're going to fail. You won't be able to get the barrels. But a lot of people were following me over and joining the group. And then people were telling them, oh, if he does get him, he's going to steal your money. He's a fraud. He's going to get fake barrels. And so then we ended up getting 3 barrels to start for our first order. And the first 3 barrels was it was Corazon de Agave. We got a Añejo Blanton's aged Añejo. We got a Reposado Rare aged or Eagle Rare aged Reposado, and we got a barrel of San Matias Gran Reserva before they were doing barrel selects on it. We were the first to do that. And so we got all 3 of those barrels. I was flown to Mexico and spent a weekend with Casa San Matias, picking barrels and making friends with those guys there. And they're still very dear friends of mine. I know that distillery extremely well. Been there several times now. But we bought 3 barrels there. And then while we were there, we talked about the Ray Sol buy. And so I came back on a second trip to visit with them, and we picked 2 barrels of Ray Sol. But we did those 3 barrels. They went out to everybody. Everybody got their barrels. That no one paid me directly, so I didn't steal anyone's money. But I still had a bunch of haters that were telling me that that I was a con man and I was going to steal their money. And the more I kept proving them wrong, the more angrier they got. And so the more angry they got, and the more they told me I couldn't do things, the more hard pressed I was to get things done. So that's what I did. So that's what I did. And so then I ended up I ended up getting more barrels and stuff and growing the group. And then I ended up also making more trips to Mexico to visit with the distilleries. So once I did that, things started growing. And so I said, hey, I need to find a review place, a place where I can find good reviews on tequila and stuff, because I could never find any good review sites. And so I said, okay, I'm going to create a YouTube channel and start doing my own reviews, because most of the stuff, the review sites I saw, they were people that were taking sips of tequila and saying smooth, and that's all they gave you. They didn't give you any production details and stuff. And so when I reached out to a lot of the producers stuff, I said, I want to get your production information on this certain stuff, because I want to start doing reviews and giving people production information. And so they were like, okay, yeah, we'd love that. And so I started doing reviews, and then a lot of the people that are the tequila people were like, hey, you haven't been drinking tequila long enough to do reviews. And so if you look at my first reviews, they're kind of raw. They're kind of edgy, because I was new at it. I wasn't good at doing them yet. But as you look through the years, things have gotten better, and I started doing a better job at doing the reviews. And so the channel started taking off, and then I get more people hating on me, wanting me to stop, and saying I plagiarize things. And so I've battled a lot of haters and stuff over the years of doing this, but it doesn't stop me. I still go on strong, and now here I am doing reviews and giving you guys information. And all the producers, when I fly to Mexico, I get a bunch of producers that'll text me saying, hey, come visit the distillery and learn about our distillery and stuff, and share information with people, because I don't charge them to do these videos. I don't get paid to do them. It's all people sponsored and everything like that. So that's what I do. And here I am today. Oh, and the ferment and still, when I started doing reviews and stuff, I was getting a lot of people that would message me and say, hey, that tequila sounds great. I can't find it anywhere near me. And so one of the things is I partner with a bunch of people to put these, put ferment and still together. And once I did that, then I was able then to say, hey, you can get them here. And then also they became our retailer for all of our Tequila Barrel and Agave Collective buys. So, because before I'd have to find retailers to take the barrel in for us and ship them to everybody and take payment, and they would rip us off on pricing and stuff, or jack up the shipping on us. They make extra money and stuff on us. So I needed to find a place that that could take our barrels in for us and work with us on giving good pricing and stuff, and get the shipping and stuff done, so we can send it to all the people. And so that's one of the reasons why Ferment and Still was created, as well as to be able to get it some of these great tequilas in people's hands and help support these producers. So so that's kind of my story. I mean, it's kind of interesting. I still get a lot of crap from people now, but I just don't listen to it. People still say I'm a plagiarizing fake, but all my content and stuff I create myself, and haters are gonna hate, and like I've said, a bunch of people that support me, a bunch of my mentors are like, don't worry about it. If you don't have haters, then you're not doing things right. If you have haters, then you're doing things right. So that's basically what it is. So probably less snobs than the bourbon and whiskey. Yeah, probably. I don't know. I don't get myself involved in bourbon and whiskey groups. They're jealous that you could figure out, and they couldn't. Yeah, that's probably it. Yeah. And they're jealous that people, I think, were listening more to me because I was nicer about it. There's some guys too that would share information and then expect you to say, hey, I learned about this from so-and-so, and give credit, where I'm more about just sharing the knowledge, and I don't care if people give me credit or not. It's not a big thing for me. For me, it's more about helping people develop the same passion and stuff that I do, and sharing the love and the culture and stuff that I've learned about from the producers, and sharing. I'm like a gateway. I'm like a pipeline of information from the producers to everybody else. They don't have the money to spend on advertising and stuff, so that I kind of do that for them, get the word out. I don't charge them. I make all of my money from the people that are members of the channel, which I appreciate the members of the YouTube channel. If you notice, I'm putting credits on and thanking them on that, as well as from advertising from Google on YouTube. So that's how I make my money. So I don't get paid for making videos like some of the guys out there do, and I focus instead on creating content and hoping that the support and stuff I get from you guys will help cover the bills on it. So thank you, Hombre. Tequila Hombre reviews are great, and really looking forward to where the Hombre Cave is going. Well, thank you. I'm looking forward to it too. And I'm hoping that the Hombre Cave takes off, because this is going to be more of like a podcast where we dive deeper into things here versus the Tequila Hombre channel. The Tequila Hombre channel is going to be mostly reviews, because people were complaining about the live streams and stuff on there where they just wanted to get to the reviews and kind of see what's going on first. And if they want to dive deeper into stuff and get into other things here, like wine, and I'll talk about wine here in a minute. But if that information stuff can be shared here. So I wish my state would stop being dicks about it and let it order from out of, yeah, I understand. Haters gonna hate, haters gonna hate. Yep, exactly. Yes, we enjoy your review. Well, thank you. I'm glad you enjoy the reviews. That makes me happy when I hear from people that they enjoy my reviews, because I do put a lot of work and stuff into it. I thank God for Ferment and Still. And well, thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying Ferment and Still. You definitely help my cousin, and I find quality tequilas. We appreciate you being here a lot, man. Thank you so much for taking. Oh, you're welcome. I do this because I want you guys to learn and enjoy it and love this stuff as much as I do. So I'm glad you do that. Oh yeah, Jay, you were around there. You were around then, yeah. And if you look at some of the older videos, see, people sometimes comment on the old videos, like from 2-3 years ago, where I had braces and big glasses on, and I was like, if you look at some of those videos, you go back and you look, I was really, really nervous when I was doing those, because at that point I was still being harassed a lot when I did my videos, with people making fun of and correcting me and saying I don't know how to pronounce things right. People asking why I blink so much because I had big glasses on and lights shining in my eyes, and I had all kinds of people doing all kinds of things, and I was like super self-conscious about it. So if you can see in there, I don't look very comfortable because I was nervous as hell, and I was a radio guy, so you think I wouldn't be nervous, but it was more about the comments and stuff that I was getting from people, because people can be really awful when it came to their comments and stuff on the channel. And there's still lots of awful people, but they don't bother me anymore. And it's funny because I had some really good mentors, and I'm gonna mention one right now. One guy, his name's Drew Garrison. He was a really cool guy. He was in the tequila and agave spirits world. He was a big supporter of me. He shared a lot of information with me. He was my mentor for getting into other agave spirits, and I'll tell you what he did with me. But he was a big supporter. He'd say, keep doing it. You're doing great. You're putting something together that people are going to love. And he was a big supporter of mine, and I really appreciated him for being like that, because he's a really knowledgeable guy in agave spirits. And that was one of the things too, is when I was doing tequila, I decided, hey, let's check out like mezcal, right, and other agave spirits. And so I bought a bottle of mezcal, and I bought this Zakaru stuff at Bevmo, and it tasted like licking a burnt truck tire. It wasn't good. So then I come on, and I was like, Drew, I tried this mezcal for the first time today, and it was, oh my God, it was like licking a burnt truck tire. And he's like, oh, you tried the wrong stuff. And Scott, you have a question like that, dude, message me directly, okay? Sorry. So I tried a Zakaru, and it tasted like a burnt truck tire. And I wasn't happy with it. I was like, dude, I don't think I like mezcal. And he's like, no, you can't try a poorly produced mezcal like that and then say you don't like mezcal. He goes, let me mentor you. And says, okay, great. So he turned me on to some reading material and told me what to read and stuff to learn more about the spirits and agave spirits and stuff. And then he started giving me ideas of brands to try. And so that's kind of like what I'm doing though with the group of guys that are getting involved with the mezcals is he's letting me know, hey, these are the kind of things they're letting you know, this is the kind of things you should try. These are the ones that, you should experiment first with, and then getting deeper and deeper into mezcal and agave spirits. So that is that's how that's the mentoring and stuff that I got that I'm trying to give to the viewers and stuff for you guys. Okay. So that is what we do. Sorry. All right. So we have a bunch of different agave spirits we're going to be getting into for the Mezcal Monday episodes. So I hope you guys experiment with those and don't be afraid of them. If you've tried one before you didn't like, I did too. So, but there's other ones out there that are really good, and I think you guys will really enjoy it. So come with me on the trip, and I swear I will not steer you wrong. And hopefully, you haven't found that I steered you wrong on any of my tequila recommendations. So, but if I have, I apologize. I didn't mean to. I'm trying to steer you stuff to stuff that I like. Also, on my reviews, I don't get really weird with my tasting notes and stuff. I can, people do that. It's kind of an ego trip for people. For me, I try to keep it so people can relate to the tasting notes and say, okay, yeah, I taste that, instead of saying stuff like burnt forest leaves or wet dirt or concrete or stuff like that. Instead, I try to give you tasting notes where you can go like, okay, yeah, I know what that tastes like, and yeah, I can taste that. So it's kind of like you can taste along with me when I do them and look for the flavor notes, and it won't be something weird that, like some people say dogwood bark and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, when was the last time you chewed on a dogwood tree? So I try to keep things simple and down to earth so you guys can relate to it as well. So, drank tequila, but knew nothing about the good stuff until now. Thanks for the knowledge. You're welcome. I'm glad that it helps you. That's what it's all about, is sharing the help. That's what I'm all about. Sharing the love, sharing the passion, and helping you guys and steering you towards some of the good stuff so you guys can see what that's like. So you're not spending your hard-earned money on extra sweet, additive, loaded tequilas, because that's what's a lot available on the shelves. If you don't know what to look for, that's what a lot of people could end up buying and thinking it's good stuff when there's just a lot of additives and stuff in it. So any other questions or anything else you guys wanted to know about my past and stuff? Or let's talk about the wine stuff. So now I've been getting into wine, right? Because after kind of learning all this stuff about tequila and tequila production, I'm finding that wine production and tequila production are like almost identical. I'm keep talking about that. But one of the reasons why I've gotten so much into wine is before I never really had a palate for wine, but now because of how my palate's developed with tequila and agave spirits and stuff, I actually enjoy a good wine. So, I like bold reds. I like reds. But I've also wanted to do more experimentation and understanding of malolactic fermentation, since some places are starting to work with that. If you've tried the Cascanes Joven, the first one, I actually worked with them. I helped them create that because they had a Blanco that they did that went to malolactic, and I don't think they wanted it to. I think it was just they just forgot about it, and it went too far into malolactic, and it was really, really cheesy bad. It was like, so we had to figure out a way to kind of fix it so they could not have to throw the batch away. So we mixed while in my house, in my kitchen, in my dining room. John Paul Fortunati from Coscon was in my house with me. He brought a bunch of samples and stuff. We were drinking it. So, you could probably mix this with other Blanco. So we mixed it with other Blanco tastes. I was like, yeah, no, still. But I said, how about if we throw some like an extra añejo in with it, and maybe like a little bit of repo and stuff. So we're mixing other aged spirits with it, and when we mix the extra añejo in with it, we're like, all right, wow, this is good. He's like, yeah, we should do this. Like, yeah, you guys should come out with the Hoven and mix it like kind of like this. So then they went back and they formulated what percentage they're going to use of what in it, and they ended up coming out with the first Hoven, and it was really good. It was really, really good. So I actually worked with them on creating that first Hoven, and we did that in my dining room. So you turned me on to G4, which is awesome. I'm still trying to get Carrera in here. Okay. Yeah, I talked to them. They said they're going to try to get it registered with Massachusetts. So, but you got to get it registered with the state in order for that to happen. So, what mezcal bottle did you first enjoy that changed your mind? The first one I did, I bought all the small Rey Camperos. Have you guys seen those? Hold on. So Rey Campero does 200 milliliter bottles, right? So I said, okay, I want to make sure I like something before I really start getting into it. So I bought a bunch of these, and I got them for a pretty good price online. So one of them that I really liked was the Jabali, which is one that they make, and they were the first ones to kind of develop the Jabali thing, and because it's a very difficult agave to work with, but it's super fruity, and it was like, wow, this flavor on this is really good. And if you look at my first my review of it on the channel, I actually called it like Jabali because I didn't know how to pronounce it right, but it's Jabali, and it was really good. And so I said, okay, this one's good. So I started trying other ones, and Drew would tell me, if you like that, try this, and he was giving me other ones to try, other brands that were good. And so then I started getting deeper and deeper and deeper into it. I started a family of followers. Your whole family follows me? Well, thanks, Jay. I appreciate that. I'm just the opposite. I love red wines first, and now getting into tequila. I love the processing similarities. Yeah, it's ridiculously, it's ridiculous how close they are. And it's funny though, because I keep, I'm doing wine now, and what I just did is I just bought frozen grapes that are being sent to me. And so I'm going to be doing a Cab Franc from frozen grapes, where I'm actually getting, I just ordered a grape press. So I'll be actually pressing grapes. It's kind of like a roller mill type of thing, but it's different for grapes. But, I'll be doing the whole process in my garage now. So if any of you are in Southern California and want to come help, we can get together and do it. It should be fun. And you guys can see my brewery and my Lego City in my garage. But, I'm ordered some grapes, and so I'm actually going to do them from crushing grapes and stuff like a vineyard would. But I also want to play with the malolactic fermentation, because with red wines you have to pretty much do a malolactic fermentation to round them out. And then with white wines, it's only a Chardonnay that you do a malolactic fermentation with, because you want to round it out and try to develop a little buttery note in the Chardonnay if people like them buttery. My wife loves the buttery Chardonnays. But, you look at the similarities between them. In tequila, they call it mosto, right? Which is must in Spanish. In wine, it's must, right? You crush the grapes, you crush the agaves. It's fructose in the grapes, fructose and glucose combination. It's fructose and glucose combinations in tequilas too, in agaves too. Agave, if you don't watch the fermentation, will go into malolactic fermentation because it's wild and stuff. And wine uses malolactic fermentation. It's the only things that where malolactic fermentation comes into play. Well, besides like brandies and stuff where they're doing fruit wines and stuff before they distill them. But like whiskey, since it uses maltose, you can let a whiskey ferment for as long as you want, and it'll never go to malolactic fermentation. Matter of fact, for like beer, when I used to do beer, I used to let it ferment. I used to do a double fermentation on it. So I did a primary and a secondary. And the secondary is basically, it was just the yeast cleaning up its stuff, but it would never go malolactic on it. It just made it for a cleaner beer. So you'd rack it off the first bunch of yeast, and then let the yeast kind of clean up everything and stuff. And the second fermentation, let it go for a couple weeks, produced a cleaner beer. So, but with wine and stuff, like for tequila, after 5-6 days, you want to stop it because otherwise it's going to go into malolactic, and it'll start making some really funky notes and stuff in there because you're dealing a lot too with some wild yeast, since a lot of it's open air fermentation. So, but the similarities between the two are pretty crazy, and so I wanted to learn more about what's happening and stuff in the fermentation. So that's why I'm doing more stuff with wine, because I think it's going to help me kind of improve my understanding of the difference in fermentation from working with a malt-based sugar versus a fruit-based sugar. So, you're waiting on your Cardenas Laga. Okay, the Legacy. Okay, cool. Carrera is available here, but it's through a very small distributor, so getting them to come here has been a pain. It's been a whole month. We've called and emailed the distributor, and still nothing. Still noticing nothing. Okay. Well, I'll send him a note and say, hey, tell your distributor to go out and visit Chris. You're waiting on your Cadena's Legacy. I get it. What your legacy? Yeah, I get it. Winfred. It's good stuff. Their repo's good. I like it. So I'm really enjoying the similarities between wine and tequila. I think it's really interesting. And so if any of you guys are interested that are here in Southern California, want to come by and help with winemaking stuff and kind of learn about it, and I'll kind of go over the similarities and how it's like pretty much the same thing you'd see in Mexico at the distilleries. And the only difference is they distill it afterwards. But I think if it wasn't called tequila and stuff, it probably could be called a brandy because it fits under the same type of thing. Even though the agave isn't itself a fruit, it's a root, but it's fructose based, which kind of makes it, kind of a little bit in the same family, which is kind of interesting for me. So that's it. That's my journey. That's where, and this is where I'm at now. I have a lot of the top producers and stuff are on my phone. I can message them anytime, and they'll respond to me and answer questions because they know I'm here to help them. And they always will message me, tell them about new stuff that's coming out. So that's how I'm able to give you guys all the new information about things. And I have some that just I'm become good friends with, and we just message each other to say hi and stuff all the time as well. Diablito Rojo, Diablito Extradijo, and Ray Saul never knew about it before you. Can't get enough of it. Oh, nice. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying those. Those are all very good. If you like the Diablito Rojo and the Diablito Extradijo, make sure you try the Uno Dos on Tres of the same line from the 123 Organics, because all of them are really good. I love the Repo. The number 2 from the 123 line is great. The number 3 is good too. I mean, everything from the 123 Organic line is good. So if you like the Diablito is a little different in that they used French oak for it, where the other ones they used American oak for the 1, 2, and 3. But David Ravandi is the guy that makes those. He makes the Diablito Rojo and the Diablito as well. And if you know him, you know he's a wine guy. He's big into wine. He lives in Healdsburg, which is by Napa and Sonoma, up in that area. Huge wine guy, huge wine. He loves wines. And so kind of the tie in there, and it's funny because I messaged him and said, hey, David, I'm finding out, a lot of stuff about making wine and stuff in the garage. I'm finding out a lot of the similarities and stuff. He goes, yeah, because I've been preaching about that for years and nobody listens to me. He goes, but you're smart and you picked it up. This is good for you. And you're doing good work. And I'm like, well, thank you. That's awesome. And then if you look to the guy that created Cascanas, his name's Colin Edwards. He is a huge wine guy too. Very big wine guy. Amazing, like the stuff he knows about wine. He can taste the wine and tell you where the grapes were from, what kind of grapes they were. I mean, he's that kind of a wine guy, and he's the one that created Cascanas. And he was one that really started, bringing malolactic fermentation to more out in the open in the tequila world. So, and so much that other places have started copying him about, duplicating the malolactic notes, but keeping an eye on them and making sure it doesn't go too far into the malolactic area too. So, what is it? Love Wine, also coming from Wisconsin in 2024 on motorcycle. We'll look you up next year. There you go. So yeah, it's an interesting journey, and there's still more to learn. I don't even think I know everything, and so I'm always asking questions, from the producers and stuff that I know, the brand owners. I'm always learning. Don't stop learning. Don't stop asking questions, and don't let anybody tell you that you can't do anything in the tequila world or agave spirits world. If you want to do something and you want to figure out how to do it, I'm always here. I'm always here to help. So don't be afraid to message me, and I'll help you any way I can in putting you in contact with people that could help you, depending on what you want to do. I'm also, for those of you too that are interested in creating a brand, I'm actually a consultant. I consult with people that want to create brands, and I'm working on some new brand development stuff that should be good. So you'll hear about some projects that I'm doing when I go to Mexico. I'm working with a couple of clients on creating some new tequila brands that'll be coming out. I'm working on with some good master distillers and stuff. And so, and then some of the brands as well will message me and say, hey, they want me to try something, and give them feedback and let them know what I think and give them some ideas of things they could do to improve it and stuff. So I have some distilleries and stuff that asked me to help consult with them on stuff too. So, and that's what we did with with the Carrera Tequila Hombre edition. As I said, hey, we should do a high proof Blanco. When they first reviewed him, became friends with Lalo Camarena and Mauricio, his dad, and they said, okay, well let's get together. And so I flew out and visited him in Arandas at the distillery, and then we tasted through things. And I said, this is kind of what you guys should do. We should do this, and we should do this, and so then they were like, okay, let's look into that. And so then the next time I came out, they were like, how about try this? We tried what you recommended. I was like, oh my god, that's so good. Yes, this is it. This is the 108 proof version that I want. And so then they're like, yeah, this turned out really good. And then they used it they diluted it down for the regular Blanco, which is what you guys know as the CTP 045. That was one that I worked with them on and came up with the flavor profile and stuff with them. So, and it turned out great. So I'm excited about that. Once that 108 proof comes in, the collective guys are going to be really happy with that. And we should be getting that in this month. So that's going to be really cool. And then I become friends with people like John Bollinger at Yayo. And so we're getting the first single barrel Reposado from them. For those of you that watch the selection on it, he sent me the rest of the bottle because I'm good friends with him and stuff. This is barrel 7. So this is going to be, and it's so good. This stuff is so good. It was a huge difference if you watch the barrel selection video that I did with him. It's a huge difference in this one from the other one that I had. The other one was kind of hot, and and it burned a lot. But this one was just so easy to drink and such a good flavor profile. I'm excited for the members of the collective that get this, because they're going to love it. It's going to sell out. It's going to be gone, which is great. And I'm glad that I can bring these for the collective members, and glad that they can get their hands on this. And then I'm working right now too on a special Blanco from the Vivancos. Sergio Cruz and Sergio Vivanco are good friends of mine. I know them very well, and they did an experimental batch that I got to try when I was there, and I fell in love with it and said, I want to get that. I want to buy it all. And so then they ended up, they're selling it to us. So I just was talking with Sergio Vivanco today, and he's going to work on getting it bottled for us. So we should probably look to have that hopefully here in the States by May or June. And that one's really good too. He actually was playing with malolactic on that. So it has that buttery, cheesy notes and stuff to it. And it's so good. The agave flavor and stuff on it's so good. You guys are going to love, the members of the collective are going to love it. If you're not a member of the collective, I apologize. You get to hear all this stuff and not get any of it. But those of you that are members, we got some exciting stuff that's happening. So thank you for your membership. And I promise you're going to get some really good tequilas coming in. It's going to be great. So, but I appreciate those of you that are members of the collective for supporting what I do and supporting these projects, because without you, it'd be really expensive for me. So the first 2 years of the collective, I averaged about $15,000 a year out of my pocket in expenses that I paid to get those barrels going and keep the collective running. So I got 10 minutes. Okay, thanks, Jay. He's my timekeeper. So, so we got some good stuff coming in for the collective. So I hope you guys become members. If you're not members already, it's $10 a month membership, and that just helps me with offsetting my expenses and stuff. And then you're also part of a big community. We can ask questions and stuff, and everybody answers, and everybody's really friendly, and there's lots of information shared. And then that's the best way too to ask me questions, because every time someone posts and just tags me on a post, I always respond back and answer the questions and stuff for them. So they get like priority on any questions and stuff that come up that they need answered. They just tag me on a channel, whatever topic it is, and ask the question, and then I come right in and answer it and give them the information that they're looking for. But it's a good community, lots of information. We even have a whole section with each different states, and then like what are the good restaurants and bars in those states to visit for tequila selection. So there's some really good resources in there as well, as you get the collective membership, so you can get your special purchases on the barrels and the special batches and stuff that we do. So it's all really, really, really good stuff. So any other questions? Anything else you guys want to know about here while we are still going on? Anything else I can answer for you guys? No, I'm that good. All right, so Tuesday, we're gonna do something special on Tuesday. I have somebody that I'm going to be going through a tasting with on it, and I sent him some really special stuff that he can't get anymore, that he's going to be tasting blind, and I'm going to walk him through that. I have, as part of the memberships, I had a level that was called aficionados. No, maestros. It was called maestros. And the maestro level, they get samples sent to them every month of stuff that I've reviewed here and stuff, so they can try it. And then what I do is I normally do a video tasting with them. I haven't been doing the video tastings and stuff lately, but the gentleman that's going to be on with Tuesday, his wife bought him some tastings and stuff with me where they wanted special stuff that he can't get anymore. And so we're going to taste him through those, and you guys get to see that happening on Tuesday on the live stream. It should be pretty cool. he's gonna be tasting some really good stuff. So that'll be fun to watch. And you guys can ask questions and stuff while we go through it. But his name's Jay. Jay's a really good guy. He's one of my Maestro members, and it should be fun. It's gonna be fun for him too, because he's not, kind of shy about coming on and doing stuff like this. But we normally do it with just him and I on the computer without broadcasting it. But I thought it'd be cool for you guys to kind of watch somebody going through the process of tasting and stuff, and us discussing it and talking about it, and then you guys can ask questions and stuff too while we do it. But that should be a fun episode on Tuesday. So hopefully you guys will tune in at 7 p.m. on Tuesday for that. I'll be doing a Mezcal Monday review on Monday. I've got a couple reviews I'm going to be putting together this weekend as well. So when can we see the Lego City? Oh, we're still working on building stuff. I need to get, my wife's had pneumonia, so she hasn't been doing any building, and I need to get the buildings transferred over to the new plates. So it's a huge mess right now. But once I get things cleaned up, I'll show you guys the Lego City. But I will I'll be having the frozen grapes will be arriving next week too. I'll do a video on that and posting that about what we're going to be doing and how that's going to work, which will be kind of fun. I'm doing a Cab Franc, which I love, a good hearty red, and we're doing another Chardonnay for my wife, but it's going to be a non-kit one. So this one we can do malolactic because she wants butter, and supposedly on the kits the malolactic doesn't work on them. So that's what we're going to be doing next week. Should be fun. But you'll also be some good reviews. We got some new brands that came in that Luna Nueva, and then what's the other one? Santa Leza are two brands that we'll be doing reviews for. So yeah, it's definitely a union job. I need union workers to come in and help do the construction on it, but but my wife loves to build Lego stuff, and when I was trying to transfer them from the old base plates to the new one, they were falling apart on me, and so I just told her she just tear them apart and rebuild them on the new plates using the instructions and stuff, start over. So she has to do that. She doesn't want me trying to convert them on my own because they end up falling apart and parts get all over the place and stuff. So, but once we get that taken care of, and I can start setting things up, I'll do some videos and show you guys the Lego City, because it is kind of cool. But I want to make sure we get everything all rewired and stuff for the lights, and it'll look really cool. But we just have a lot of work we got to do on it first. All right. Any other questions? Anything else I can help you guys with before we knock off for the night? It's Friday night here. And for those of you too that were looking for the winter blend, we got some bottles in. Ferment still got some bottles in. We got 6 bottles in today. I think like 4 of them sold already, but there's 2 left. Something like that. I haven't looked to see how many are left, but if you want to get it, it's kind of high priced because that's what it is these days, unfortunately, but it's there if somebody wants it. So, strange question. What cabinets are those storing your bottles? These are from IKEA. I bought it from IKEA. The lights aren't part of it. I put strip lights in there. These are strip lights, Govee strip lights that I bought off of Amazon. It's strip tape. That's tape, LED tape lights that you just I just put across the shelves and stuff, and it's got a controller on it that's Wi-Fi and Bluetooth controlled, so I can literally they're not working. The Wi-Fi is not working, but I showed people this before on other videos. I think I've done it, but I'll show you just real quick. The Wi-Fi's aren't working, but let me see if they're, well, let me see. Let me get them connected here and see if I can have them changed for us here. Okay, they're all Bluetooth connected now. Let's see if any of them are on Wi-Fi. None of them might work, but let me see. One of them is connected to the Wi-Fi, but let me see if it'll change here for us. Change tequila case to blue.
Okay, changing tequila case to blue. Sorry, it looks like 2 lights aren't available.
Yeah,
right now.
only this one over here changed. Here, let me show you. Because the other ones aren't connected to Wi-Fi. I need to figure out what's going on with the Wi-Fi connector on it. But here, see? This one over here went blue. But you can change the colors on them and stuff. And so they're all connected and stuff, so you can change them. Here. Change tequila case to yellow. Orange. Change tequila case to orange.
Showing pictures that
No,
match.
stop it. Change tequila case to orange.
Got it. Changing tequila case to orange.
There, now it's back to
Sorry.
So you put the strip lights on, and then you can have it change colors and stuff. I actually had one time where I did a nighttime with the Hombre where we had music playing and they were all like moving to the beat of the music and stuff. So, hey, JCS made it right at the end. Hey, JCS, glad you can make it. Yeah, technology. I don't know what's going on with the Wi-Fi thing on these. All the Bluetooth works, so I just have to go into the app and turn them on and off and stuff through the app. All right, guys, it's 8 o'clock. Any other quick questions before we call it a night here? Last call. No? Going once? Oh, very cool. Yeah, it's cool stuff. Yeah, and these shelves are good. You just got to be careful with how many bottles you stack on them because they're only rated for a certain amount of pounds. They don't have like a steel bar that goes across that holds the shelf. So if you don't want to put too many bottles on it, because then it will break. And that's the one thing that I worry about is I go too heavy on the shelves. So I don't. I've got a lot of bottles. I've got probably 150 bottles down on the floor over here, and probably another 50 or 60 over on this side. So I've got a lot of bottles on the floor, and then I got probably another 300 or 400 in the closet. So I just have those filled up with some stuff, but I don't want to put too much in because I don't want the shelves breaking. But so far they've been holding up okay. So IKEA, I bought them at IKEA. All right, guys, that's going to be it for tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you learned some stuff about me tonight and answered some of your questions. We'll see you guys on Tuesday for Tuesday's live stream, where we're going to have a special tasting for some special tequilas and stuff with Jay. You guys are going to love that as I walk him through those. And you guys can ask questions and stuff about him. You can talk to him, ask him questions about what he's tasting. It'll be really cool. Have a great weekend. I'll put some content up on both the Tequila Hombre channel and here. I'll do some stuff on the wine here because I'm racking them over and pulling them out of the primary fermentation right now and trying to put a halt to some of the malolactic fermentation that's going on. The Cabernet Sauvignon has already been sitting on wood now. It's sitting on I put some aging staves from Beyond Barrel in the carboy now for it. So it should be going really good. Thanks for sharing, hanging out. You're welcome. You have a great night as well, Chris. Thanks for joining us. And I hope that you continue on your fun night. And until next time, guys, like I always say, life is too short to drink bad tequila and agave spirits. So keep watching the reviews. Keep coming here to the Hombre Cave and learning. And knowledge is power. You'll be making better choices and enjoying better spirits in no time at all. Thank you so much, guys. Salud. Bye. But what's this? You never told me. Oh, no, not you, Jay. A different Jay. Sorry, Jay. Not you. Salud.